Welcome to another day of Bhagavad Gita Sadhana. It's lovely to be with you. I'm Atmadarshan or Laura, whichever you prefer. That's going to lead us, of course, everything always leads us into the topic du jour, which is what's your path? And we're looking at path number 12 as described in chapter number 12 of Bhagavad Gita, which is Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of devotion. In this chapter, at the start, Arjun, the warrior, asks his friend and spiritual mentor Krishna a question that reveals Arjun has progressed in his understanding. At the beginning of the Gita, Arjun is talking to Krishna as if Krishna is a mere human, a mortal like us. By the time we get to chapter 12, Arjun is addressing Krishna in a different way. He's not speaking so much to the mortal, the shell that comes and goes, that is temporary. He is speaking to the permanent within, which one might call the spirit or the soul. And he's getting his answers from the soul, from the divine, however you want to contemplate that aspect of existence. Well, as Arjun realizes that Krishna is the embodied soul of a divine being, Arjun asks Krishna this question: if I am going to bow down and be devoted to the divinity, do I try to be devoted to the divinity I see embodied as you, my friend, whom I love dearly, my cousin, to whom I'm bound by blood? Or do I devote myself to that spirit kind of soul thing that you are? And Krishna responds that it is better for Arjun, and by extension us, since Arjun represents us talking to the divine, better for Arjun to place his devotion on something concrete. In fact, here is what Krishna says in verse 5 of chapter 12. There is more pain for those whose minds are set on the unmanifest, because that goal is difficult for the embodied to attain. We've gotten so used to being embodied that when we try to relate to something we call the soul or the spirit or the divine, we make up ideas that are also based on embodiments. For example, what the deity might look like. You may have heard the saying, if God or if dogs worship God, then God would look like a dog. And cats, well, cats are a whole different story. Cats know that they are the embodiment of God. That's the big difference between dogs and cats. Dogs see the divine within us somehow. Cats know they are the divine. And that gets to the heart of this lesson. Many of us on the spiritual path are trying to benefit ourselves at a deep level, the soul level, but we might not have an understanding of exactly what that is. How do we connect to the divine that enlivens us? For example, from a Christian point of view, the Holy Spirit, the Hagia Sophia, whatever you want to call this within. What does it look like? Can we touch it? Does it appear to us mysteriously? Is it a wisp of smoky that just dissipates somewhere when we die? We can relate to the divine as this, our embodied form. In fact, in Sanskrit, there's a term for embodied form, and that's murti. So this is a murti, a form of Krishna. And if I were a devout Vaishnavite, I could worship this as the deity because it's the form of it. And it's easy for me to connect to a form. I mean, Krishna is beautiful. He has splendid pastimes. He's perfect in every way as a human being with all our foibles. Well, can we connect to, instead of this mysterious thing within us that we call the soul or the divine, maybe it's easier to connect with the idea of we are divine. This is divine. This is the face of God. This is the face of God. That tree is the, I'm not a weather person someday. The tree is the face of God. The car in the garage is the face of God. Ah, it's there. It's somewhere. Like a cat. A cat knows that it is the divine. Today, as we practice, and throughout the rest of the day, I invite you to actually treat your body like it is God. Like this is God's body here. Or if it's hard for you to do it for yourself because of esteem issues or whatever, your car is a form of God, something dear to you. Your dog is a form of God, your tree, your lawn, your laundry. But if you can do that with yourself, it will be a huge stepping stone on your spiritual path. And you can use this mudra, which is murti mudra, embodiment mudra. All the fingers interlace on the outside of the hands, and then you extend the final two fingers. Okay, murti mudra. Form, your embodiment. Let's do our pose, and then we'll sit. Ooh, wet grass. Nice. Switch sides. Wonderful. Preparing to sit. As I turn on our 5-minute timer, remember the mudra is murti. Today's practice I dedicate to every one of you in your embodiments. You are divine, and I salute that. May you be able to connect with this idea during the meditation. Find some embodiment that you can relate to as divine, hopefully yourself, but if not, something else. And notice how your attitude shifts if you really believe that is a form of the ultimate truth. Welcome back, you divine one, you. This reminds me of the Eucharist. If you are any of the traditions that practice the ceremony of the Eucharist, where it's recognized that the divine has come down and embodied in a human form before, and that it can keep coming back and embody in different forms, including the food we eat, the liquids we drink. It's all divine. You are divine. Namaste. I hope I have the pleasure of your divine company tomorrow. And I always love to hear from you how these things go. Feel free to share in the comments what it's like for you to know yourself as divine. See you soon.